Hey, welcome to Dating Advice for Men Who Love Women. Should a man be chivalrous with a woman today, or is chivalry dead and for good reason? Well, first of all, before I get into this topic too deeply, I just want to say that what I'm sharing with you in this presentation is just my perspective. I'm not trying to tell you what you should do because ultimately that's up to you. You can choose to behave however you want. So, what I want to do in this presentation is share a frame with you that I think is the most helpful for us and that makes you the happiest and most successful, especially when it comes to interacting with women. Because let's face it, society is making it harder and harder to have romance in our lives and for us to be chivalrous. And, both sides of that equation are kind of at odds with each other at the moment. And there are some people who benefit from men and women kind of being divided against each other. And it seems like those ideas are being pushed really hard. And then on the other end, some people are working to fight against that. And so modern society doesn't necessarily make it easy to have romance or for us to be chivalrous and the other side of that as well. And I think that as much as possible, we need to work together as men and women. And that's why it's so awesome that the Wing Girl method is the sponsor of this video. The Wing Girl method was founded by renowned dating expert and fellow YouTuber Marnie Your Personal Wing Girl, and her YouTube channel has over 1.3 million subscribers. She's also been featured on MTV, Dr. Drew, Ask Men, and The Art of Charm, among many other top publications. And I've also personally interviewed her several times myself, so I know she knows her stuff. And her goal is simply to help you improve your dating life. And that's why she created the F formula. Marnie's science-backed flirting method, the F formula, helps you attract the women that you really want and build your confidence. This proven system isn't for guys who are content with being alone forever. It's for those who are ready to break free from their flirting failures and finally date the women they deserve. Even if you think a woman is out of your league, this step-by-step formula can change that. It shows you exactly how to make a woman eager to escalate with you, date you, sleep with you, and be with you. And you don't need to look like a Hollywood actor or a male model, and you don't have to have millions of dollars in your bank account or drive a Ferrari for this to work. With the F formula, those things just aren't necessary. All you have to do is apply this method, and you'll start seeing results almost immediately. And why should you trust Marnie's F formula? Well, over 100,000 men from all over the world have already gotten real results with real women in the real world. So it's a proven formula, and it's backed by science. And because the Wing Girl method is sponsoring this video, they're offering my viewers an unbeatable deal. Just click the first link in the description or scan the QR code on your screen now to grab your exclusive preview of the F formula completely free. Plus, if you decide to pick up the full program, you'll get an extra 20% off. If you're tired of failing at flirting and being stuck on the sidelines, stop wasting time. Take control of your dating life. Click the link below or scan the QR code on your screen and get access right away. And so a few weeks ago, I put out a newsletter about affection, and there is a video on this channel about it as well. And in response to that, I got a question about chivalry. So I'm just going to read a little bit of that question, and then I'm going to go over my response with you, because I think there's a really good way to frame this that's helpful to us and that makes us happier and more successful with women. And so I'm going to share that with you in this presentation. And so here's what my student wrote in. Thank you for your affection newsletter. I get your points about affection, everything makes sense, but I was left with a question. What about chivalry? You know, opening the door, walking by the street side when you're with her, giving her your jacket when it's cold, pulling out her chair for her to sit down when you're on a date, etc. What about those things? Aren't those things what a gentleman is supposed to do? What do you think about that? So that's what he asked me about, and it's a really good question. So here's my response to that. Yes, you should still be a gentleman in the way my student talked about with a woman, even today. And I'll talk about why more in a minute. And so when you're interacting with a woman, whether you just met her at the bar and you're taking her to the next place, or you're dating her and you're picking her up for your third date, for example, you should be a gentleman in a lot of ways with her. So, for example, you should open doors for her, including the car door if you pick her up. Go around to the other side, open the door. When she gets in, then close it, and then go around to the other side and get in and start driving. When you go to a coffee shop or a restaurant, choose a table and then take her to it, lead her there, and pull the chair out for her. Unless during that time she suggests another place, then you can choose to go there if you want and pull out the chair for her there instead. And walk on the side of the sidewalk closest to the street where the cars are if you're walking down the street with her. And again, this is even if you just met her at the bar that night. In my opinion, you should be doing that. And if there's anything dangerous up ahead when you're walking with her, walk a little bit in front of her. Kind of go into that dangerous thing first. So if there's some kind of like hole in the sidewalk or something, make sure she doesn't step in it and kind of lead through that. If there's a scary dog or something, go out a little bit in front and move away a little bit and kind of lead through that. Now, why should we still do those things even in this modern society where it's actually harder for good men and women to connect with each other? Well, here's a big reason. The right woman for you, a woman with all the characteristics that are required for you to have a healthy, happy relationship over the long term with her, will most of the time respond positively to this behavior. She will still appreciate it. The right woman for you, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, is very likely to respond positively to this. And even if you're just having fun and going for hookups at the moment, a lot of women are still very likely to appreciate that. It might make her feel more comfortable with you. And as long as that attraction is also established with her and it's not just friend energy, she's going to really feel more comfortable with you, and that's going to make her more likely to connect with you in the way that you want as well. So this kind of gentlemanly behavior is actually attractive to the right woman for you. You get tons of points for it, and it makes you stand out from guys who just aren't putting in this little bit of effort. It's a masculine thing to do, and it's attractive. And notice how I put here that you should be a gentleman because that's who you are. We're not even just doing it to get kind of points from whatever woman you're with right now. We should ultimately do these things because it's just the kind of guy you are. You're not even really doing it for her. It's just who you are. It's normal. You're just the kind of guy who leads and pulls out chairs and opens doors and all that stuff. That's just part of who you are. It's not a big deal. And you're not doing it seeking something from her validation or approval. You're just doing it because that's who you are. So keep that in mind. Now, here's the other side of this. If by chivalry you mean all kinds of self-sacrifice with absolutely no return for it, that's not attractive, and we shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff today. And so, for example, even when a woman asks you for something small, like a favor, for example, so if she asks you to watch her purse while she goes to the bathroom, for example, number one, at least make sure she says please. And if she doesn't, you can say, what do you say? And then when she says please, you can say, okay, sure, I'll watch your purse, no problem. And number two, ask her for a favor in return if you can. It's even better if you can pull that off. So if she says, hey, can you watch my purse while I go to the restroom? You say, would you mind grabbing me a napkin from the bar on your way back? And when she says, sure, no problem, then you say, of course I'll watch your purse. And then when she gets back, if she didn't grab you a napkin, remind her of it and make sure she does that small favor for you. So you don't want to be easy when it comes to granting a woman favors when you first start dating her in those early stages where you're establishing attraction and raising her interest, because it can lower her romantic interest in you. You start to get slotted into that helpful friend zone instead of the attraction and lover zone. Once she's already deeply in love with you after 2 or 3 months and she's your official girlfriend, then of course you can do those kind of favors for her. But in the beginning stages, we're not going to do those kind of supplicating behaviors at that point because she hasn't really earned it yet. So you just want to make it a little more equal by asking her for a little favor back, evening it out a little bit, or at least making sure she says please. And if she asks you nicely in the beginning, She says, "Hey, would you please mind watching my purse while I go to the bathroom?" Because she was polite, you can just say, "Yeah, sure." You don't have to make that big of a deal out of it. Just try to make it as even as you can, and you're not looking to do those behaviors. That's different than pulling her chair out for her. You see the difference? So you don't want to be easy when it comes to granting a woman favors when you first start dating her because that can lower her interest in you. However, when it comes to gestures of an attractive gentleman that we discussed before, those things show her that you're socially intelligent, aware of things, bold, gallant, and confident. Plus, those are things that are you kind of leading because they're coming from you and who you are as a man consistently, not you valuing her specifically above yourself or kind of simping, as they call it these days. There's a really big difference here. And so cut out any supplicating behaviors you're doing, if you're doing any, but keep doing the things that a gentleman does because that's from our side, the masculine side, and it's leading and attractive. And whenever you do something like that, like when you go around the other side of the car to open her door for her, just do it as if it's not a big deal because it's not. It's just what you do as a gentleman. It's just part of who you are. You're not really looking for her to appreciate those gestures. It's just what you do. And that's what makes those behaviors attractive to a woman is that you're not doing them for her appreciation or approval. It's just the kind of guy you are, an attractive gentleman. Now, here's the other thing about this. Some women may not appreciate some of these chivalrous gestures. And this is how you handle that. So let's say that you go to open the door for a woman and she says politely, "Please, let's open the doors for each other and make it a little more equal between us. I don't really like it when someone opens the car door for me. Can we just do it where we each open our own car doors?" If she says it kind of politely like that and in a reasonable way, then you just adjust your behavior and you just stop doing those things for her because she explicitly asked you not to in a way that still shows mutual respect. And you want to make note of what she just said as a potential yellow flag. So you want to observe her behaviors and the way she talks about things as you spend more time with her after that to see how she feels about men in general, how she feels about male female dynamics, and how she'll treat you if you end up in a relationship with her. So just put it a little more on your radar that maybe she has some negative impressions of men in general that could come back to you. So if she responds that way, where she kind of respectfully asks you not to do something like this, then you can just modify your behavior and just keep it in mind to look for other signs. Maybe she just has really healthy boundaries and that's what she likes, or maybe she has a bad impression of men that's eventually going to come back on you in a bad way. So start paying attention to that. It's a yellow flag. It's not necessarily a red flag, and it's not necessarily a green flag. We don't know yet. We need more information. So notice it if she does that, modify your behavior, and then notice how she kind of reacts to different things and what she says as you continue to spend more time with her, and just make sure there's not a serious problem there that's going to cause you issues down the line. And so if that's the only yellow flag that you notice along the way and everything else is on point with her, then it's up to you, but there's not really a problem to keep going with her if you like her. On the other hand, if you go to open the door for a woman and she goes on a tirade about how she hates it when guys do things like that, etc., and she seems to kind of fly off the handle about it, or she lectures you about it, that's a big red flag and a major clue that she probably doesn't have the healthiest outlook about men and relationships. And if I was you, if that happened, I wouldn't go out with her again after that. And if that happens, you just kind of continue the date normally. You end it politely when it's finished, and then you just delete her contact info and you don't text her again. But of course, that's totally up to you. I see that as a big red flag. If she seems kind of extra bothered by it, that's a signal that that's how she deals with things in life and also possibly her orientation towards men and relationships in general. But really, here's the thing. I actually hold doors open for everyone when it's not really going out of my way too far to do it. I think it's just kind of a polite thing to do. And I've done it all over the world. I've done it in different countries. I've done it all over the United States in different places. And I've never had anyone really get that upset by it or bothered by it. They usually just say thank you, or they don't acknowledge it at all and just keep going. That's fine also. I'm not doing it for their acknowledgement. Just the kind of person that I am. And so it hasn't really ever been a problem, even for just random people in an office building, let's say. And most women who are attracted to men, even in today's society, still feel good when a man does things like this for them, or they're at least neutral. It's primal, and it's not really that strongly linked to the cultural whims of the moment. So what I recommend is, by default, be a gentleman, because that's just who you are. Do these things confidently and move on without looking for any kind of positive reaction. And then just adjust your behavior to the specific woman you're interacting with at any point, if necessary. So by default, we're just going to do these things because that's who we are. And then we're going to adjust if needed. And if you get some kind of negative feedback from a woman about these things, look at this as a filter. Most of the time, the right woman for you will love you for it. And if a woman doesn't like it, now we have to take a closer look and see if we really want to continue dating her, or if her disposition towards men will cause too many future problems in your relationship with her. And again, if this is a particular woman's only yellow flag, then it's not really that big of a deal. However, most of the time, there's something bigger under the surface when this happens, and you'll find out about that quickly just by being your gentlemanly self. It's a really good filter. So being a gentleman always wins. The right woman for you gets more attracted to you, and the wrong women for you get filtered out as quickly as possible. So again, yes, continue to employ these gentlemanly gestures and keep on winning, because it's the most helpful frame that allows you to be the most successful and the happiest. And remember, it's your job to lead your ideal woman into the kind of relationship you want to build with her. So start with these small things and build from there. There's no question that our society has put chivalry on life support, and men are reluctant to be chivalrous with women in the modern world for good reason. However, if you want to be in a satisfying, functional, healthy relationship with the right woman for you, and yes, she still exists, then being a gentleman in simple traditional ways is still the way to go. Because the best women still love it when you act like a true gentleman. And that's just who you are. And if you want to be in a long-term relationship with the right woman for you, and you want her to fall deeply in love with you, and then stay deeply in love with you as long as you want to be with her, and you want to build a great relationship with her, then make sure you grab our best-selling Attract and Keep Her system if you haven't already. And to get the Attract and Keep Her system, just go to attractandkeepher.com/system. That's attractandkeepher.com/system. And make sure you go through it 2 or 3 times at least, and then maybe once every couple of years after that, to just make sure that everything is on point and you're not making any unnecessary mistakes. So go grab that now if you want to have a great relationship with an amazing girlfriend or wife. And if you're just kind of having fun at the moment, you're not really looking for a relationship right now, and you want to have fun in a way that's good for you and the women that you're dating, and also kind of protect yourself at the same time, then grab the Good Guy Guide system right now if that is what you're going for. So inside the Good Guy Guide, we cover exactly what to do with a woman step by step, from the first moment that you see her from across the room all the way until she's headed to your place or you're headed to her place, what to do when you get there, and how to handle the next morning, etc. That whole process is laid out for you, and all you have to do is go through that with her. And if she makes it through all the right filters, then you can be sure that she's ready to go, and that's really important. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want to build attraction with women quickly, and also make sure they're comfortable with you at the same time, so that it facilitates both of you having a good time in a way that feels really good to both of you in the next morning still, then go to datingadviceformenwholovewomen.com/GGG. That's datingadviceformenwholovewomen.com/GGG, and pick up your copy of the Good Guy Guide right now. And of course, we also have a lot of really high quality free training for you as well. It's not just the other videos on this channel. We also have free ebooks and even full free awesome courses for you. And so to get any of that awesome free stuff, just go to datingadviceformenwholovewomen.com. That's datingadviceformenwholovewomen.com. And of course, everything that I just talked about is linked in the description below, or you can scan the QR code on your screen right now as well. And anytime you download one of our free ebooks or you register for one of our free courses, you're automatically added to our email list as well. And we send out a really great newsletter every Thursday for you. And we try to put as much value and helpful stuff in that newsletter as we possibly can. So I hope you join us for that also. Either way, society might be kind of trending one way, but for us in our own lives, we should lead things towards the way we want them to be. And being a gentleman, just because that's who you are, is a first small step towards that. And then you can gauge a woman's response to you behaving like an attractive gentleman and take things from there. I'm Jim Wolf with Dating Advice for Men Who Love Women, and I'll talk to you later.